Look, this isn't about good or bad, except for that's pretty much what like the entirety of Star Wars has been about. It has been about bad people want to do bad things, and it's up to good people to put a stop to it. I just had this whole conversation with my friends last night at Culver's, talking about some of like the characters we hate. And Rose Tico says one of the dumbest lines in Star Wars: "We don't win a war by destroying what we hate; we win by saving what we love." That line is written by someone who like clearly thinks it's deep, but it just isn't. And same with this. It's not about good or bad, it's about power and who is allowed to use it. What is that supposed to mean? I know they're trying to like preach at like the message and all that about like systems of power and such, but people don't want to sit here and get a lecture about all your politics, about you using their favorite stories and properties to beat things down their throat. Assertion that the series will have a heavy emphasis on current. Oh, fuck me. Not like I was going to watch this anyway, but heavy emphasis on current day politics. Yeah. It's just going to be about everything's most sexist, isn't it? More likely that the series will provide a heavy dose of intersectional feminist theory in the guise of Star Wars. Yeah, I know how it goes. Is that a man bun Wookiee? Is that a Wookiee with a man bun? Also, why does this person here look like their face got smashed in with a basketball? What I think is so interesting right now, Headland told Empire, when you're doing something completely original like we are, you want to question the status quo of the... You're literally just repeating everything that has been said as the status quo in Star Wars up to this point. You're not doing anything completely original. You're working with someone else's property. That's not completely original. What you're doing, what you think is completely original, is you've inserted yourself and your politics into Star Wars. That isn't completely original. This is why I stopped paying attention after Kenobi. Because it was clear it was no longer about Star Wars. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Book of Boba Fett sucked. Mando season 1 and 2 were okay. I kind of liked them because I've always liked the Mandalorians, but for crying out loud, I'm doing something original. Something completely original. You've never seen someone talk about a female Jedi before. It's not like we had an entire trilogy about a Mary Sue Jedi that nobody liked. It just felt like fertile ground to look into what's going on for all of us right now. I think the heel versus babyface rant applies right here, right now. Current fucking day. Nobody wants to watch Star Wars to get a dose of the politics we're all trying to use this to escape from. Look, Star Wars has been dead. It has been dead since Solo lost money. It has been a zombie walking around, shambling around as a rotting corpse up until now. When people, even the hardest of fans, have finally accepted that it's dead. People don't want to go into Star Wars because it reflects everything that's happening nowadays. That is not why we love Star Wars. We love Star Wars because lightsabers and pew-pews and awesome intergalactic fights or interplanetary fights. Star Wars was a series with a lot of deep lore, a lot of good storytelling, and a lot of great characters. But ever since Disney took over, it has been more and more of just inserting people who want to put themselves front and center. That is what this is. This Leslie Headland person They just want to be front and center, and they just want to put their own politics out there because they think they have something deep and inspiring to say. But it's literally just going to end up like that Rose Tico line. We don't win a war by destroying what we hate. We win by saving what we love. Is there any more of this dumbassery in here? I mean, other than Man Bun Wookie here. Now, actually, what this looks like, it looks like someone hit this dude over the head with a bat, and now he just doesn't know what's good for him. Not only did Hedlund confirm the show will be a commentary on current American society, culture, and politics, but she seemed to imply the focus of the show being on female villains. But she seemed to imply the focus of the show being on female villains are self-inserts. When I was a young queer girl, I was just hanging out with Ursula, the sea witch from The Little Mermaid. She told the outlet. As a queer girl... Hold up. You just said this part. As a queer girl growing up, if you don't identify with the heroes and the villains of the show, right, and the villains show up and they're all queer coded, you're like, yes, that's me. As a queer filmmaker, okay, you have now said you are queer 3 times in one statement. Like I said, this person just wants to make everything about themselves. She literally just wants to make everything about her and her identity. And look, I did a video a while back called Why Modern Movies Suck or something like that. Hold on, let me check. That's not it. The Breaking Point, Why Modern Entertainment Sucks. And it was a longer video, and I was pretty proud of that one. But in it, I kind of talked about this stuff and like how it absolutely ruins fiction. When you start talking about, when you start making yourself the center of the story you're writing, it ruins fiction. Especially when you're a narcissistic, self-aggrandizing dumbass like this. This isn't how people talk. This isn't how a normal person talks. This is a person who wants to draw attention to the fact that they have a special checkbox they can tick off. I'm a queer girl. A normal person would say, when I was growing up. If you identify with a villain, fine, sure, okay. I question you a little bit, but some villains are actually great characters. See Itachi Uchiha. As a queer filmmaker, you're going to see some camp, inevitably, but I would say that tonally our references are darker. I doubt that. Because you're incapable of doing something that's actually dark. You cannot give me something like Oshinoko or Berserk. You cannot give me dark. You're incapable of it. Because dark would mean that you do some things that you're uncomfortable with. That you deal with subjects that you don't want to deal with, and that you think about them in ways you don't want to think about them because it would expose you for the narcissistic hack that you are. And of course, because Dave Filoni biffed so hard with Ahsoka, this is going to suffer. Just like Andor, actually, from everything I heard, Andor was actually a good series. People actually liked Andor. But nobody watched it. Why? Because everything that came out surrounding it sucked ass. Like, I was just like talking about the way they were talking when I said they were like a narcissistic, interested person, and somehow nailed it because all this language here. Back in June 2021, Hedlund confirmed that the series would be female-centric during an interview with YouTuber Fantastic Frankie. Just because my show is technically, yes, female-centric, meaning it centers around a female protagonist, I don't think that necessarily excludes men from that space. That's not female-centric. ReZero is female-centric. And that whole statement in and of itself is hilarious. because it's basically just queer coded is just a term that refers to, oh, well, in my head canon, here, they're gay because they were really good friends. All right. Headland would go on to explain, listen, I relate to male characters all the time. Like I root for Mando. Like I root for Luke. I like deeply. Well, not sure how much I care about Han Solo anymore. When I was little, I really liked him. When I watch him now, I'm kind of like, gosh, a lot of my psyche makes sense now. Okay. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Like, what are you attacking Han Solo for? What? Being a player and a smuggler, a guy with some riz, if you will. I hate that word. Continuing on. All joking aside, I think that an inclusive space means an inclusive. Dear God. But at the same time, I think that just because something has a female protagonist doesn't mean it's only meant for women. Oh my God, she basically just defined the entire argument of the culture war. That you don't need to identify with someone based on your identity. You don't need a mirror to identify with a character. The things we should be looking at when we're talking about characters we relate to should be things that are universal. Courage, generosity, kindness, those kinds of things, virtues, not skin deep qualities. Like, I don't just identify with a character because they're male. I identify with a character because of who they are. I can identify with certain characters, even though they are nothing like me. Like, as controversial as he is, I love Subaru Natsuki from ReZero. Not everything has to be about yourself, and that's what these people don't realize. They need to be the center of attention. And it's just kind of sad. Oh, so this must be Leslie Headland. Yeah, she really looks like someone like hit her in the face with a basketball as a child one too many times. She went on to describe the series as a tent revival. I kind of see like if Star Wars is a religion, which I think we kind of agreed for the purpose of this interview it is. I like to think of my show as a tent revival. If you can come over if you want. We are going to be talking about some cool stuff. There's going to be some things we haven't discussed in canon yet. There are going to be some characters you don't know about. What? Again, I don't. It's like a tent revival? In what sense? That you're going to come in and you're going to be preached at? There's not going to be anything that they haven't discussed already. It's going to be the same old schlop we get out of every Star Wars project now. And if it's not your thing, the cool thing about Star Wars right now is there's so much you can align yourself with and invest yourself in. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Okay. I don't like anything Disney Star Wars. So that's it. No more Disney Star Wars. It's not canon. I don't include it as canon. You know what I am going to include as canon? This, which I still have yet to get into. Because I have a stack of books a mile high over in the corner of my room, and an entire box set of Claymore manga that I haven't even touched yet.